We want to thank your office for the support you've been done in the ministry since we started this initiative. It's the Monday press conferences. Good morning, everyone. Senior government officials from the Ministry of Information, Media and Broadcasting Services, officials from the Gambia Radio and Television Services, the Gambia Printing and Publishing Corporation here also, and also DTL. Members of the press also, this is going to be our first press conference for 2025. As usual, we organize a monthly press conference in addition to the Mansakunda program, and the press conference is to give the press the opportunity to interface with government, to ask relevant questions. We've been doing very well with that, and we thank the press for the support and the collaboration. We've always argued that the media is a critical partner to government, but it is also the conduit between the government and the population. And as a ministry, the information, our mandate is to ensure that we provide the public with relevant, timely, accurate, and authentic information. This is important because we are trying to consolidate our democracy. And one of the key principles in this drive is to ensure accountability and transparency. Government must be accountable to the people because government is here to serve the public using public funds, having a mandate from the public to govern and to deliver on policies. So therefore, government must be accountable to the public. The public must know periodically what the government is doing for them. What are government's plans, what are our projects? But the government also must know what the public is thinking, what are their aspirations, what are their challenges, what are their needs. This is important. And this is where the vital role of the ministry comes into play, where we are creating that avenue where that interface can happen between the public and the government. Not only in a reactive manner where we just react to requests for information, but in a proactive manner, we call it proactive disclosure. That is, we don't have to wait for the public to ask for information that concerns them. But we need to be constantly giving out information to the public so they know exactly what the government is doing. Now, this is transparency also. Now, governments drive their legitimacy from being transparent to the public and being accountable to the public. So the public knows what we are doing. So we know what also the public is thinking and what their aspirations are. That is why we organize these press conferences periodically, every once every month, to bring the government to interface with the media so they can now give an account of their achievements, but also their vision in that particular sector, and give the media the chance to ask relevant questions. But what does the media do with these answers when they receive it? Do they take it home and consume it by themselves? No. What do? They share it, they disseminate it to the public. We cannot invite every Gambian to come to this forum and ask relevant questions. But the media comes on your behalf and asks questions for you. Because you deal with the population, you know what the population are asking. You bring those questions to government, you receive answers, and you go back and share that information using various media. Previously, before the advent of new technologies, it was mostly radio and perhaps TV. Some of us who were young, we remember we had only one TV at home. There was only one channel we could watch, that is RTS. At 12 o'clock, they will close. We'll bring a cloth and cover the TV and put a flower on top of it until the following day again at 6 o'clock when they open. But now times have changed. And before, when you were even watching TV, you have to go to the back and turn the antenna so you can get it right. And someone will say, but now you have thousands of channels you can stream live. That shows how times have changed. So use different media to disseminate information, not only now radio or newspapers, but now we have TikTok, Facebook, different media. So there is information overflow. So governments must also adapt to these two changes. That is why we are doing everything possible as a ministry to ensure that we don't only disseminate information, but also target it in a manner in which it reaches to every segment of society. Not everybody listens to the radio, not everybody reads newspapers. There are those who only derive their information from social media. If you focus on radio, TV dissemination, you tend to disenfranchise a large segment of society from accessing information. And constitutionally, access to information is a right. That is why the government passed the Access to Information Act to ensure that government officials who are custodians of public information are willing and ready to give that information to the public when they demand it. Now, today's press conference is an unusual one. Why? Because normally we will all call other sectors to come. But today the ministry itself, we are starting with the ministry itself. We are going to be accountable to the people. Today's press conference is the Ministry of Information. And the people you see here, seated here today, these are agencies under the ministry or department. No, not is it departments, huh? Under the ministry. This is the Digital Gambia Limited, whose mandate is to ensure and implement our DTT transition, that is Digital Terrestrial Transition. We have the Gambia Printing and Publishing Corporation, and we have the Gambia Radio and Television Service. These are the departments under the Ministry of Information in this sector. So we are starting with ourselves today. They say charity begins at home. So what I will do today is I will give you an update of the ministry's achievements in 2024 and give you what are our priorities for 2025. Then we will call DGL to do the same thing, and then DPPC, and then DRTS, and we will now open the floor to the media, to the journalists to answer relevant questions. Now, one of the key achievements in 2024, as part of our mandate to ensure proactive disclosure and to popularize government agenda, we initiated a program called Ministerial Mansakunda. It's a ministerial town hall. It's a bi-weekly one where every 2 weeks we will call a sector minister and his entire sector heads to come and face the public. The difference between the Mansakunda and the press conference is open only to the journalists, the media houses, to ask questions, a press conference. The Mansakunda is open to the public. Anybody, as long as you reside in the Gambia, you can walk in to any Mansakunda program and ask questions. Now, the Mansakunda was effective in that it highlighted government agendas. So far, we have done about 9 to 10 episodes featuring ministries such as Ministry of Works, Agriculture, Finance, Higher Education, Gender, Health, Youth and Sports. They've all surfaced. And I think the last one we had was the Ministry of Justice. On the 31st, we are having the Ministry of Public Service. Honorable Babu Kadbui will come and face the public to explain the reforms or the ongoing reforms within that sector. So the Mansakunda was an innovative initiative, and I thank the ministry, office from the ministry, for supporting the project. But we also thank the president, particularly, for supporting the initiative. We also have some other public engagements. For example, the monthly press conferences, as this one. We also have a radio program that we do at the RTS on Thursday between 8 and 9 in the morning. In this program, I'm always there myself, and sometimes I bring a minister who is available. We open the lines, we give updates for 20 minutes, then the 40 minutes we open the lines, and people can call from all over the country, discussing issues, talking about their problems, challenges they are facing, and what they think about the government, and answering relevant questions. We also do that to ensure, as part of our public engagement. But also, we are planning also to do outreach programs. We believe that every Gambian, no matter where you are, you must get access to information. So we are not only going to stay here in the Combos, we will be also organizing outreach town halls across the country as part of our public engagements. Last year also, we presented a bill to the National Assembly called the Data Protection and Privacy Bill for its reading. This is a key step towards improving data governance. Because sometimes, if you observe, if you want to open a new account, whether it's social media or any other account, they give you a long list of conditions, terms and conditions. And they say you have to accept. Sometimes we don't even read those terms and conditions. We just accept. Something has to do with your data. What happens to your data? You've provided your name, your surname, your father's name, all the, what happens to this data? So to protect data integrity, but also to protect citizens' data and citizens' privacy as well. The government is working on a bill, which is Data Protection and Privacy Bill. It's Second reading currently is at the National Assembly for approval. We also, as a ministry, appointed ATI information commissioners. If you could recall, in 2021, the government passed the ATI Act. Now, to implement that act, according to the act, within 18 months, the act must be implemented. And we all know what the act is about. That is, the public can request for information from public officials. So what we did was to appoint the 5 commissioners who are confirmed by the National Assembly. And now we are working on operationalizing the secretariat so that it is becoming a fully functional secretariat. In addition, as a ministry, we also conducted capacity building programs for senior government officials in collaboration with NDI, the National Democratic Institute, with UNESCO and NADCOM, to raise awareness of the ATI Act as well. We also provided capacity building programs for information officers and journalists to strengthen professional communication practices. Now remember, Department of Information Service is an operational arm of the ministry. They recruit and deploy information officers to different ministries as part of our mandate to provide information, timely, accurate, authentic information to the public. We also, so we have a lot of information officers that we send to the ministry as information officers. Now we are going to change that name to communications officers. We provided training for them on social media management and other forms of management. We also collaborated with, because one of the vision of the ministry is to ensure that we create a reservoir of professional, ethical, competent journalists in this country. If we don't have that, then we're in trouble. The same dangers that are inherent in having a teacher corps which has incompetent teachers, or a nursing corps with incompetent nurses, the dangers inherent in that situation is the same dangers we will face if we have a journalist, a media corps with incompetent journalists. Information is powerful. It can make or break society. So the people who handle this information must be able to know how to handle such information. That is why we are keen on making sure that we train and provide training opportunities for all journalists across the country, particularly young journalists. That is why we are collaborating with Freedom House to provide internship opportunities for 30 students from the School of Journalism at UTP. The 10 has already started 2-3 weeks ago. They are oriented. Freedom House is funding this in terms of their stipend and transport allowance. And we deploy them to different media houses, some to the ministry and some to the Federal Information Service, for them to start learning the practical aspects of their job. Because it doesn't make sense. See, careers like journalism is not something that will purely theoretical. You can go to university, do 4 years, get a degree in journalism, you cannot even hold a camera. You cannot even do a single interview, and you say, I have a degree in journalism. To learn the practical aspect of their job, to be in the field, to be in the studio, to know how it works, we provide internship for them 3 months. So they will be and having life experience in how to become a journalist, how to hold a mic. I mean, it's sad if you do 4 years of university education and you have a degree, you cannot know even how to hold a mic. And so we want to ensure that we integrate practical elements of learning to journalism, to the education of journalists in this country. So that is why we also work with Freedom House to ensure that we provide internship opportunities for journalists, student journalists who are at the University of the Gambia. Now, at the policy level, we drafted the community media sustainability policy to ensure the viability and the effectiveness of community media. Community media is important because, like we said, we want to ensure that every Gambian has access to information in the language that they understand. Therefore, community media is critical in this aspect. Now, obviously, there are challenges everywhere, and this ministry also has challenges. We have a lot of ideas, a lot of initiatives, but sometimes resources can be an issue, and that is, you all know, the budget cannot cater for every sector's needs. We must grapple with that, but we thank our partners, particularly donor partners, who always come to our aid to support us. Now, what are our plans for 2025? First, one of our priorities is to formulate what we call the Information Media and Broadcasting Bill. Remember, in 2022, the ministry was unbundled. Before that, it was called the Ministry of in communication and infrastructure. Unbundled, we have communication, digital economy, and we have information. Because of that now, how do we now navigate in using one act? Because of new dynamics, we are working on formulating our own act as a sector, which is called the Information Media and Broadcasting Act, which we will ensure that is passed in 2025. We are also finalizing the Ministry's strategic plan 2025 to 2029. As we all know, strategic plans are important. Any institution with no strategic plan is like a big ship navigating in a big ocean without a navigator. It guides you as to what you want to achieve. We will also continue our bi-weekly Mansakunda ministerial town hall, obviously, and also our monthly press conferences to maintain transparency and accessibility to information. We'll increase the frequency of the Gambia daily news publication. I hope I'm saying the right thing, Mr. Njai. The Gambia daily comes out once a week. We want to increase the frequency to at least twice to start with, to serve the public. We'll also roll out the first phase. We also plan to roll out the first phase of the infrastructure for the DTT, the Digital Terrestrial Transition, which Mr. Sidika will talk about later. We will, because it's an $11 million project. But if we cannot start across the country at the same time, we can start rolling out and scale up as we go. It's a very important project the Gambia must implement as soon as possible, but Sidikan will tell us more about the project when he speaks. We are also planning, and we are working together with the DG of GRTS and his team to modernize GRTS with alliance with global broadcasting standards. Currently, as we speak, GRTS is working towards digitization. Most of the equipment is by digital. I don't want to speak more about that, otherwise I'll be encroaching into someone else's territory. I'll allow DG to come and speak about GRTS. But our plan is to work with them to ensure that GRTS is modernized and it becomes a 21st century state broadcaster. We are also working on reviving the rural community information centers at Mansakonko to enhance access to information in rural areas, so that, like I said, rural communities also get access to information. We are also working towards raising awareness of digital protection and privacy bill and prepare for the personalization of the agency once the bill is enacted as well. But importantly, we are taking measures to combat misinformation and disinformation through campaigns, and we are starting one this week. We are launching a campaign called Countering Disinformation and Misinformation. It's a 2-week campaign with billboards, videos, with training as well. We'll also do community engagements. We are sending a team of country for 2 weeks to go to each region and have town halls to talk to citizens about the dangers of misinformation and disinformation and how they can counter it. Because it is particularly now that we are facing elections, there are people who will just sit and just misinform the public. Information that can destroy social cohesion, that can undermine national security. How do you counter it? And we are very good at sharing information that is detrimental, that has no public interest value, that is detrimental either to the nation or to individual citizens. So we are having a campaign on that. But also we are doing a training, and this campaign also is in collaboration with WAVE. WAVE sponsored this for the ministry to do, that is WAVE Gambia, the business entity. We are also providing a training for 50 journalists, fact checkers and editors and media practitioners. This training also is to train them on the dangers of misinformation and how they can counter it. Not only that, there will be the outcomes of these trainings and the colloquium will be 3 key documents. One is we are planning on developing what they call an action plan against disinformation. 2, we are also planning to create what they call the code of practice against disinformation. These are non-legislative documents where all media practitioners and civil society can buy into and sign and make commitments not to distribute disinformation to the public, which is detrimental to social cohesion. But also, we will also try to establish what they call the social media observatory, which will be inclusive, which will include the ministry, DOIs, the media, civil society, fact checkers, to be constantly scanning what is being said online Anything that they found to be disinformation which is detrimental will send a red alert to the public that this is disinformation and disregard it. So we are working on those things just in our drive to counter disinformation and misinformation. Now we are also beginning to implement the community media strategy policies to support and empower community-based radios. But also importantly, there are other instruments, legal instruments we want to develop this year, which is the Regulation to the Access Information Act, which is as instructed by the Act. But also, I think we are also working on the government communications policy. Currently, there is no government communications policy. There is no policy that determines how governments communicate among themselves, but also with the public, but also how government is branded, the branding aspect of it. So we are working on one to ensure we streamline communication within government, but also outside of government. We are also working on another document, which is I think that's all those are the documents that we have. So, in closing, we reiterate the Ministry's commitment to transparency, accountability, and innovation in serving the Gambian people. Personally, I think that the commitment of government to serve the public in providing basic services like healthcare, education, infrastructure, the same commitment we have to providing information to the public because it's important, it is vital. We also emphasize that the progress is a shared effort. That the progress we've achieved so far is a shared effort. And the ministry values the role of the media, obviously, and development partners in achieving national goals. I mean, the Ministry of Information would not be able to fulfill its mandate without the support of the media, and that is the fact. If our job is to get information to every citizen, I cannot go everywhere to get that information. So the media is a critical partner, and we value a partnership. But also our stakeholders, donor partners, the government of the Gambia, other ministries, but also our staff at the ministry for doing a very good job and for being committed and dedicated to their work. Now, I think that is it from the ministry at my level, and next I would hand over back to the chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mr. Dr. Ismail Sise, for taking us through the trajectories of positive transformation of our media landscape. Indeed, as we say, we are now in an era of media pluralism, media convergence, where people can just, with the speed of light, say whatever they want to say. But the bottom line I would like to add is credibility, and that's why at the spokesperson level, we emphasize on credibility. Whenever there's news, people say, oh, government is losing the narrative, government is slow. I say, no, I always take the analogy between the Bankaba, or when the women are in the riverside laundry. They say all kinds of things. You know, even this insult that we keep hearing, they pick it from our streets. Kids in the street, you know, insulting each other's mothers. So I say social media is a reflection of our character. So it has presented the mirror of our ugly character to ourselves. That's why everybody is panic. You can see that in your bedroom, you think that you're in control of the world. You are sitting down in the street insulting. You go to the market, people insulting each other's parents. So when you say that social media is used for insult, it is basically mirroring our character. So which means that attitudinal change is very important. So all these media platforms are there for us to reflect. They say that, you know, if you walk and you fall down, you don't have to look at where your forehead touches the ground. You have to look at the pebble you touch. So we always have to look inwards, how we use this thing. And this credibility is very important. Capacity building, you talk about it from the School of Journalism where I lecture, and I also emphasize on credibility. And the fact checking is very important. If you post something on social media and you think you follow the speed, people can always come back to you and say you did it, so you already finished, your credibility is at zero. And this is very important that we have to add in our work, and we will continue. So the issue of AI, we are also working to ensure artificial intelligence, all this technology, talk about, you know, all this, you know, privacy data, the algorithms are taking over. So we need to increase media literacy to ensure that the human agency remains, you know, at the forefront of all this information, the myriad of information outflow. These are very crucial. So technology is advancing. Government as an institution is slow. Like I said, we are not competing with social media. And our minister and all those who are in the government information ecosystem, let people say whatever they want to say. This is the Bantaba. But when it's time to make decisions, what do? They go to the Alcala's compound or they go to the Kabilo Kumba. And this is a little narrative. So when you hear something on social media, people are saying they just enjoy their freedom of speech. Government is not losing this narrative. We are just respecting the right of citizens. They fought for this democracy. They fought for pluralism. They fought for participating democracy. And this is why the government leadership of Arambaro is guiding that process, is mediating that process. But when the needs come, if we need credible information, government is creating the avenues for that one, that engagement. And that's what I want to emphasize on that one. Credibility is number one in whatever you do. Thank you so much. On that note, I would like to invite my brother, Mr. Seidi Khan of DGL. You have 10 minutes to take us through the transformative agenda of your institution. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Minister of Information, Media and Broadcasting Services, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Information, Media and Broadcasting Services, my colleague, head of institutions, the rest of my colleagues, all of you are my colleagues. We were behind the mics since October of 1995. Technicians, we deal with machines, but we all work within the same ecosystem of the media for the past, let's say, 30 years. Now, little is known about the institution that we are working for, the Digital Gambia Limited. I'm going to say a bit about the Digital Gambia Limited. Digital Gambia Limited was established by the government of the Gambia in 2018 to be responsible for the migration process from analog television to digital television. This all came about as a result of an international agreement way back in 2006 when all the member countries of the ITU agreed to migrate from analog television transmission to digital television transmission. This is discussed at the ITU level. The aim of it is to efficiently and effectively manage the natural frequency spectrum. The Gambia was a signatory to it, and the recommendations were made at the very ITU meeting in 2006 to unbundle state
Broadcasting and the Permanent Secretary, DPS, Director General GSS, General Manager, Digital Gambia, the Deputy Spokesperson of the government, and also the Special Advisor to the President's Office, Mr. Kamara, ladies and gentlemen, the media, and all other protocols during and respectively observed. Began the printing and publishing. Serialization of these revenue materials, so that at any point in time, government can definitely account the institutions that are collecting this revenue through the serialization. If that is not achieved, it will be technically impossible for government to be able to know exactly the revenue that it is losing. And this is a key mandate of the Gambia Printing and Publishing Corporations. And as management, since we came, we want to ensure, and we are doing everything possible to ensure source for them to be able to perform their auditing properly. It is important to highlight this because obviously government did it for a reason, and it is important that public institutions also are compliant with this, because this is an act of parliament which came into effect in 2006 when the corporation when this magic took place. Another very important function or mandate of the Gambia Printing and Publishing Corporation, like I said earlier on, is the provision of teaching and learning materials to institutions. We all know the importance of teaching and learning materials, especially in the form of textbooks. Unfortunately, like I mentioned earlier on, for the time I have been in GPBC, almost about 15 years now, and 13 years as the MD, we have been having series of collaborations with the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education to ensure that this key mandate is actually achieved. Unfortunately, it wasn't. We couldn't achieve until 2023, when finally we have signed an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, with the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education in collaboration with the Gambia Writers Association, as well as the conferences of principals of senior, junior, and upper basic schools, for GPBC to start printing and publishing textbooks for schools. And I'm happy to announce here that GPBC has successfully delivered on that mandate in 2023, some few months ago. Most of the media houses were present when we were doing those distributions. The corporation was given a contract to provide textbooks for senior secondary schools, almost about 133,000 textbooks, for all areas: English, mathematics, sciences, the arts, and then we have successfully delivered it. Currently, we are working with the ministry to do the second batch of the contract, which has to be, which is the printing of the same textbooks for the senior secondary schools for 2024, 2025 academic year. This is a very major achievement because it changed the GPBC in all fronts in terms of revenue, because this contract was almost about a $58 million contract with the government of the Gambia, and therefore has boosted the performance of GPBC significantly. And we want to thank the government of the day through the Honorable Minister for definitely that achievement. And I think that is the right decision, because the GPBC is 100% owned by the government of the Gambia, and the stakeholder, it is the Gambian people who owns it. So at least for all the countries that I visit most of the time, all their teaching and learning materials are printed by their national institutions. So it is good that we now do that. So thank you very much, Honorable. We want that extension to Honorable President. GPBC, like I said, for all public institutions, in order for us to be able to effectively do this mandate, it is important that we do capacity building to be able to ensure that the human resources base of the institute are in that position to be able to carry those objectives in a manner that is desirable. And the corporation has, for some time now, trained so many senior officers who are handling various departments. One key area is publishing, because in this country, I can't remember if there is anybody who has a master's degree in publishing, but recently, through the active collaboration with the board of GPBC, we sent one Mr. Sisa, who is currently sitting down here, for masters in publishing in Malaysia, and he has successfully completed that program and back to head that particular department. You can say he's almost one of the, if there is few people who have publishing qualification in this area. And this will be able to help the people in this country, both the teachers, the media, and even the private citizens, for them to be able to publish. That's what we now want to encourage. We want to encourage people, Gambian people, to write, so that when they write, we are able to publish their books. And through this publication of these books, our history will remain, our cultures will remain. And then we'll be dealing with books that are authored and written by our governments, like we are currently reading books from Sierra Leone, Nigeria, and stuff. So currently, that's a very key issue that the corporation is focusing on. Unfortunately, since its inception, the corporation had never been directing itself towards that. But later we realized that printing is not the only objective, it's not the only task given to GBPC, but publishing is very key, and we decided to reactivate that department, and it's full functional. So at the moment, that is how it is. And we also want to make sure that the processes and procedures are also in place to make sure there is security for the revenue materials. We want to ensure that government materials landed in the right hands and not in the wrong hands. This has resulted to a good performance in terms of resources, in terms of finance, like I said. For this year, GBPC has actually kind of meets its target, its revenue target from the second quarter as a result of this particular contract. So we are happy that this is ongoing. So I think basically that is the Gambia Printing and Publishing Corporation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. As I was mentioning, we need knowledge production. Already we have our own statutory entity to publish our memoir. Right, Billy, right. Donald Trump said, drill, Billy, drill. I say, right, Billy, right. We need to write our stories. Thank you so much for a beautiful rendition. Once again, MDCC, GM Serika, and Honorable Minister. The floor is now open for questions. Sorry, familiarity, familiarity. Still at home, yes. We invite him to our home, just being my brother. I feel so much for this.
Good morning, and you'll be charged for forgetting GRTS. Honorable Minister, good morning. PS of the same ministry, Minister of Information, Media and Broadcasting Services, the Deputy Permanent Secretary, my colleagues MPs, and my other colleagues down here, your colleagues, thank you very much for giving us this opportunity. And I repeat before we go, my brother, Mr. Santano, you have to be charged for forgetting her. Okay, no worries, that's okay. Okay, thank you. Before we go, let's start with the mandate of GRTS. GRTS is a public institution mandated to inform, entertain, at the same time educate the public of this country. To give you some context, some 20 years ago, 30 years ago, we were the only ones around here, television mining. Not many people have access to other channels apart from RTS, Senegal, satellite channels were not accessible to many other people. It was just for the elite. That being the case, a man running alone, as they say in Africa, always thinks he's the fastest. Now, the field is crowded. Very, very crowded. In the Gambia here, you have many options. Outside the Gambia, many options. What does that mean to GRTS? It means GRTS has to recalculate its mandate, re-strategize, reposition itself to be able to compete. And I say compete, not compete commercial, but compete for the attention of the public. People are busy, they don't have time. How can you encourage them to spend 1 minute, 2 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes with you? You must be doing something that is worth doing, and you must be doing something that they are interested in. As they say, nothing is interesting if you are not interested. Someone can be watching football, I say, oh, this is a nice game. Somebody sitting next to you say, oh, you are wasting your time. So interest is the basics of engagement. GRTS, we are working on getting things right. As I said, the field is crowded, we have to reposition ourselves. And how do we do that? We said now we have to focus on two things. Building our human resources. When we say building, we mean training them, equipping them, and their welfare and their professional development. At the same time, changing attitude to work. The public sector in this country and many other countries, I think needs to double up. You can do anything. You can have PhD, you can have whatever, but there is one thing that you need to make this country and other countries grow. That is commitment to work, patriotism. And An emperor once said, I don't need scholars, all I need is patriotic citizens. And I think this is right. When you have patriots, you can move mountains. Just we have to change the narrative, encourage people, instill in them commitment to work, take care of their welfare, equip them and develop them professionally. The next line is equipment. The broadcasting world or landscape has changed tremendously. What was the best some 10, 20 years ago is now obsolete. We need modern equipment to be able to do things in a modern way that can be sustainable at the same time attractive. Digital Gambia is part of that project, trying to modernize and, as Mr. Silicon has explained, make GRTs more digital. And in so doing, we've taken some steps. Training of personnel. We train almost all the sectors in GRTs, all the departments. People have been trained. And we have this gentleman understanding with the Minister of Higher Education to train our people up to BA level, degree level. This is important because when you improve people's professional development, you get the best out of them. The other thing that we did, we following GRTS, any function that the head of state is attending, we cover it live. Even if it is up-country, where internet is a challenge or logistics are a challenge. This was not the case some 2-3 years ago. But we reposition ourselves, reorganize themselves, and see to it that we have to do this thing. Because people must have information, as the information minister said. When people don't have information, they create their own. That's what brings these rumors and all those things. So we try to make GRTs to reach everybody and everybody to reach GRTs. The other step that we did, basic as it may seem, Radio Gambia, as it is known, that is GRTS radio, used to be called Radio Combo when we are young. Why? Because reception is much better only around the Combo. Our country has always been a challenge. I'm happy to inform you, as we are speaking, GRTS radio or Radio Gambia is on satellite for the first time ever. It means you can get GRTS wherever you are. Whether you are in the Gambia here or you are outside, you can get GRTS. And we're also working on an app. The modern generation or younger people prefer to watch or to listen using their telephones. How best can we reach them? We said, let's develop an app. That work is in progress, and Allah willing, in the near future, or maybe in the next few months, that one will be done. And anybody can download the app and be able to listen or watch GRT's programs. How is this important, or why is this important? As I say, basic, but very, very important, because it will keep people engaged with the national broadcaster. It will be even interactive. You can comment, you can do whatever, and you'll know how best to engage you and how best to share information with you. The other thing, we're trying to reach all corners. We said, let's localize GRTs. The head office is here. We have another branch in Pasir. But can we have GRTs in all the regions? Can we localize it? Like, for example, if you have GRTs in Biam or Kodi or in Kanila or in Pasir or whatever, instead of relaying the main programs that are happening at Mile 7 here, they can do their own local thing. They can domesticate, they do their own local programming. In so doing, we said we're going to do a pilot project in Mansa Congo. We opened a radio in Mansa Congo, and that process is ongoing. We are the tail end. We opened the GRTS station in Mansa Congo. That will be the first time that has been done since in the 1970s when GRTS was opened. So that's a step towards getting GRTS closer to the people. The other aspect, I said, technology, we need to improve, we need to modernize. GRTS studios at Mile 7, that is the radio, were opened in 1971, when some people in this hall were not here. That's a long time ago. Since then, nothing substantial was done to modernize that place. We are happy to report to you, we've modernized that place. One of the studios, we've modernized it to make it an audio-visual studio. You can report that it is highly technical, state-of-the-art, and one of the best. So that's an achievement that we think can really help GRTS move forward. Not only technology, you get the equipment, if you don't get the programming or you don't get other things right, nothing will work. So we're trying to get the programming right, trying to get everybody involved. Recently, if you take note, we advertise in the newspapers for people to send in program ideas to see who has the best ideas, independent producers, everybody's welcome. Because we believe theaters belong to everybody. We may be the ones opportune to be working there at this period of time, but it doesn't mean we own. And ideas can come from anywhere. So we said, let's open it up. Whoever has ideas, let them bring the idea, we look at it, work together and see. And we are happy to report that many people responded. We'll discuss and see. This is necessary to create interaction. Let people feel they own the station, they own the institution, they are part of it, so that whatever is coming out of it, they'll see it as their own, and they will own it up. So that is one of the projects that is ongoing. You go to Basse, as I said, in the 70s, a radio station was opened there. We are trying to go further. We are working on opening a television station in Basse. Again, the same thing, trying to get the station closer to the people. Before doing that, people who know Basse, we know Radio Basse, it's a massive land. But then, before, it was just an open space. Anybody can come and enter, nothing is secure. So people even use some part of it as a dump site. Nothing you can do with it because you are here. Somebody can dump something maybe 500 meters away from you at night or whatever, you wouldn't know. It was not in the best of its state. It shouldn't be that way. When you came in recently, we said we have to change the situation. Credit to many others who did try to do it, but unfortunately they couldn't do it. Why? Because of what somebody mentioned here. Our biggest challenge, I think that's true for all of us here, is income, resources. That's our challenge. But then, it shouldn't stop you from doing what you want to do. Sometimes you have to think out of the box. And we did that. We said, okay, we don't have the money to do this on our own. Let's partner with others. We worked to the armed forces, the chief of staff. We explained to him what we wanted to do. And he got on board. He said, you will support us. He will give us his technical team, the engineering team of the military. We buy the equipment and they do the job for us. And they did it. Today, if you go to Basse, it is not the way it was 2, 3 years or 30 years ago. We've secured the place. And besides securing the place, we've made it safer, more attractive, and more conducive to the people working there. And the next step in that evolution is to have a television substation down there. Wherein theaters will still, as I said, get closer to everybody. Another area I mentioned, finance is our challenge. It has been a challenge for so long, but we've done something about it. Maybe I shouldn't say it here. If I do, the Minister of Information will not fight for more funds for GRTS. But it's good for the public to know. GRTS has been living on overdraft. Like Mo is here, he's been with GRTS for 1 million years. You can attest to that. The finance director is here, there are many people here who know GRTS. That story is no more. GRTS overdraft low. No overdraft. To give you basic example, 1 by 10, you have to pay 1 by 10. Before we didn't have the money, what we do is we go to the bank, take loan, or to these microfinance agencies, we take loan. And we pay interest on that. That has stopped. Now we pay 1 by 10, 20 or 30 days before we pay. We stabilize our income. Recently we bought a brand new generator, costing us millions of dollars. The generator we had was here, as I understand, 2004 or thereabouts. It outlived its purpose a long time ago. Every year you'll see we want to replace it, we'll try, no funds to do that. This year we will change it. We brought a modern state-of-the-art generator. A basic thing that should not be used, but it has to be used because of the circumstances. When electricity goes down, theaters has to go down, and that's not good for us. Theaters will go down even when electricity goes down. So we have 2 backup systems now. We have the backup system that uses inverters and batteries. When electricity is down, theaters will not go down for some minutes. Now a generator is added, it means it will never go down, unless if there is a serious technical glitch, which we pray shall not happen. So we are moving forward. Still, the challenges are enormous. As I said, technical-wise, the outside broadcasting band we are using, you'll be amazed if I tell you when it was proposed. If I say 10 years ago, that's a long time. 20 years ago, that's a long time. It was proposed in 1995 or 1996. Sorry, March, maybe you confirm. 96? 96. I was in school in 96. It's the same outside broadcasting band that we are using. That's a major challenge, but discussions are ongoing with the Honorable Minister. I must say the Honorable Minister is very, very concerned and very, very, what should I say, responsive. Whatever idea we bring to it, he takes it up. In fact, he owns it. We are working with him, working with the government to see how best we can replace that one. Because if you look at our peers in the neighboring countries, these are countries that are of the same status with us. They are all LDC, least development countries, least developed countries. But then, when you visit them, you see what they have. When you come back here, you see what we have. You realize we are not even 0% near to what we need to be a public broadcast. But to the dedication of the team, of the staff, we have very, very, very hard-working people. People who can do money. People who work with this obsolete equipment, and they still produce results. They produce results. If I didn't tell you this, you wouldn't know our outside broadcasting was born in 1995-96. They produce results. Because we keep modernizing it, bringing some equipment, fixing it, but still we need a holistic system. So I must commend the staff. We have people who are doing very well. The reverse is also true. We have people who have to carry along. It is true in all the situations. But the staff are commendable. They do magic. Sometimes you criticize, yes, you don't this, you don't this, you don't do this, you don't have this. But you have to look at, people cannot give what they don't have. It's not possible. You only give what you have. If you don't give me the equipment, if I'm the soldier, best trained, I am this and this and that, I don't have a gun. If I go to battle, I'll be the first one to be captured. So people need to develop it. And here it is, the government is doing its best, the OIC, the government did very well for the OIC. We must commend the Honorable Minister, the Chief of Staff, and the credit goes to the Head of State, His Excellency President Adam Abaro. He stood for us very well. Formally, GRTS, two or three camera men have to share a camera, not many cameras, since day one. As I was speaking to you today, every camera passing in GRTS has your own camera. For the first time, it has never happened. We bought, if I could remember, 20 or 20-something new cameras. So that side has been taken care of, thanks to the government. During the IC, they supported us very well. We have what we call a data center. If you go to established media houses, what they do is, when you bring in your roses or whatever, you send it somewhere, and the editors will pick it from there. Here it is, for the past 30 years, we've been operating a different system, manual system. You come, do this for me, do this for me. Not convenient, not modern, not established. That has changed too. Due to the funds we got from OIC, we have a very solid data center. Everything is centralized in one place. You don't need to run and hustle. You can do your things online and get it done fast and quick. So again, we commend the government for that. They've lifted us up. If you look at our pictures on television, they are HD quality. Our pictures are HD quality. That all came after the OIC. We revamp our studios. Though we still have more work to do, that will come in. We have a lot of work to do, but we've gone a step far. As the Chinese will say, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step. When you take a step, you are sure you'll go somewhere. But Mali said the same. He said, you will never finish if you don't start. We have started a long time ago, and we are gaining speed. GRTS again, as a public broadcaster, cannot be successful in what it does without the patronage of the citizens. How would the citizens patronage GRTS? It has to be two ways. One, we are responsible, we the management and staff of GRTS. We have to come with something interesting, something captivating that is worth people's time. Two, the public too must realize that we are them. It is called the Gambia Radio and Television Service. You must patronize your own, you must love your own. If you don't love your own, you keep watching or listening to others, your own will never be the best. The Olaf said, Jambar Amut, could be Japar and Jambar. The people we have been with, CNN, TVC and others, they do what they do fine, very well. But if their people didn't patronize them, they wouldn't reach the level they reach. We have to realize that we own these institutions, we own the programs that are coming. They are here towards our entertainment, development, or whatever. Let's patronize GRTs. Sometimes we hear people say, GRTs, people are doing well. But sometimes you hear, GRTs, somebody say that GRTs. You don't say that GRTs, you say that something else. So far, it's underboard and take us into the bottom. So you have to take charge. You have to love this country. You have to, the media is an agent of socialization. The media socializes you for us. What you see, what you hear, goes a long way in developing your character. And as a socialization agent, it is better you get closer to something that is similar to your culture or is a reflection of your culture rather than other things. The media reflects or it leads. How does it reflect? As Sankano was saying, social media is a reflection of us. What we do here, our gossip or whatever, that's what we pour there. Very true. It's a reflection of us. The reverse can also be true. The media can also try to be a leader of society, leading society to another dimension. This society is good at insulting, good at good. Okay, can we change the narrative? Let's encourage them to be doing the opposite. Like if you look at our this channel, some of them, anytime they have TV or interval, dancing, not bad, very good. You go to other cultures, when they have breaks, they bring something educative, they connect people, things that can teach you something. We need to go towards that level. Things that people can learn, things that can show us to be better people. And our languages as well. As I said, I always argue this thing, even when before I became DJ at I say, it's unfortunate we couldn't change it, that's the reality, but we would have been much better this way. We use our languages, far more than we use the English language. Why? There is no about any group in this country. We do the use in English, and after we translate it to our people, in all of Mandika or whatever, why don't we do it in our language, and later we translate it to the Dubai? I understand English is the official language of this country, so there is nothing we can do with that. But I'm just trying to tell you the importance of using our languages. And JRTs, we are trying to do that. Now what we encourage is, whatever programs we do, we encourage you to use the local language. Let people hear people speaking their own languages. Let them hear all of it. Let them hear Manjago, let them hear whatever. Then they will own the programming. But as I said, socialization, because we've been socialized to think that anyone who speaks better English is better, or maybe more sophisticated, when it's not the case. It's just a medium of instruction and a medium of communication. You go to Japan and you go to China, you meet people who are very good at what they do. They cannot speak English, they cannot speak French. And I've done my research, maybe somebody can challenge me. I've not seen any developed country in the world where the medium of instruction is in another language that is not there. I haven't seen any. England, they use English. Italy, they use Italian. China, they use Mandarin. Japan, Japanese. Any country that is classified as a developed nation, they read and write in their own language. Because you understand your own language better than any other. The people we call stupid, the people we call they are not smart. They are not smart in the other person's language. When they are using their own language, oh, they are fantastic. They are very, very fantastic. There is this joke in the olden days, the other time, in Parliament, some people they are not very good at English language. I can say, in Parliament they wouldn't say anything, or if they would say something, they wouldn't express it very well. When they come out, I heard they will say, so you see, it means they have the idea, but how would they be able to express it? They could not because of the language barrier. The other basic things, going back to basic skills, still for you to understand the context of theater. Basic things like King Fahad Mosque, eat prayers, quality. We always do live for radio, but we've never been able to do live television until some few years ago. Because of just basic challenges. It tells you how the state of chair is, the help it needs. But when we came, we were able to overcome that. Now we do that one live. So it means we have basic structural weaknesses that we need to address. And they can be addressed in many ways, resource-wise, as I said, professional training, as I said, and attitude to work as well. This attitude to work, wherever I go, I say it, because I've been a Pan-Africanist since my school days, and I believe it's long overdue, or it's past the time that we put the blame on our side for our problems. Our problems are our problems. We know our problems. Let's fix them. We keep blaming the West. Yes, they contributed, but they've gone home. They left us here. We still couldn't do our best. All of us want to migrate and go and live there. And when we go there for the next 10 years, we'll destroy the place. If they come here, they'll build again because of attitude. I asked one professor, who divided Africa? He said, Europeans. I said, okay, good. He said, but they've gone a long time ago. If we are unhappy with their divisions, let's unite. Why can't we? They created Senegal, they created Gambia, they created Kenya, but they've gone. And you still blame them? No. Just in your own house, you have 3 or 4 brothers. You say at the same thing. Somebody came and divided and said, okay, you be on your own, be on your own. Okay, you couldn't do anything about it. You agreed. Reluctantly. The person left died 2 years or 3 years ago. These people are still divided. You cannot come together. And you still blame that person. He created the division. But come back if you are unhappy with the division. But we don't. We cherish these divisions. Only the Gambia will become Gambia to Gambia. People in Kenya will become Kenya. Even for us to come together to trade is a problem. For us to say, I guess, is a problem. For us to cross borders is a problem. We need to look at those things. It might be side, but it's not a side. Just telling you because media and communication engulfs everything. Everything. Freedom of speech, as my brother said, the Honorable Minister, this government has given people freedom of speech. People are free to say whatever. But then, you are free to say what you want to say. But do not be free to say what will harm and hurt other people. That is not part of freedom of speech. And freedom of speech is not a foreign reality here. It's something that has been here for a long time. In the olden days, or 200 years ago, or in the African system, the Guineans were given freedom of speech. They were the journalists. They can say whatever it is they want to the king or whoever. Others could not do so. I know my time is gone, Lord, but then this is what we have for you. Maybe question time, we'll be willing to take questions. I came here with my directors. They are all here. I commend them again. They are ready to take on your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, DGC. It's quite interesting to see. I mean, to your credit and to your team, observing an interesting trend here. Some of your staff are my students at the School of Journalism in UTG. The trend that, BRIEFS is now attracting people from other media houses. Then I was a young staff growing up and observing, it has been the other way around. The attrition rate in BRIEFS was very high. And thanks to your management approach, abroad and civil abroad is Yahya Jammeh, when you are doing your master's, you are communicating. So that one is really an example that you survive. So in this you are facing a lot of competition, but you are attractive. So attracting other people from the media house, which means that your human resource agenda is working. And as you say, another thing is I'm a fan of history, your archives. You are custodians of our audiovisual memory. You inherited the film unit. You have written to talk about it in Gambia in 1971. And that aspect is missing, and I'm sure I would have to push to digitizing your archives, make them available. Some of my students on their final year, they want to do research, but they say they're having challenging accessing your archives. I think whatever you are doing, this is something that has to, our memory should be there. And for now, I think it's well preserved. We don't want the situation that is going to be fire outbreak. We lost our memory. What happened in the Great Alexandria? It took Africa backward because our ancestral archives were destroyed. So, and this is a challenge, and this is something that I believe you should prioritize in your reform agenda. And now I think I've not left anyone behind before I apologize again. So, everyone is covered, everyone got enough time to update the public. Now the floor is open for questions and answers. As usual, your name, your media organization, feel free to ask in all national languages. Like I said, we need to be proud of our native languages. Yeah, I think the mics are on, so you can just sit it on and answer. Name, media organization, and the question to whom it's being addressed. Good? Sorry. Yeah, I already mentioned to whom the question is addressed.
Okay, good morning everyone. My name is Yahya Jammeh, a reporter from the Standard newspaper. My question is for the Managing Director of GPPC, Mr. Cisse. So we understand that the GPPC have not been audited for the past 3 years and the 2021 account is to be finalized. Recently, the new board chairman requested for a forensic audit amidst alleged gross financial mismanagement, repeated violation of GPPA procurement rules, and serious crippling governance issues affecting the corporation. My question is, what is your response to the allegation that you deliberately misled the former Works Minister during the inauguration of 50 million Bilomatic exercise book printing machine to tell the whole country that with the machine you can generate between 700,000 to 1 million revenue every year, when in actual fact, you are now struggling to even generate revenues of 80 million. Is it true that the machines were purchased as second hand and have been developing serious technical?
The one in the Gambia is far more bigger than the one in Senegal. And it has a capacity of producing 10,000 books an hour. And it is from starting to end without any manual intervention. So I can assure you, and it is serving its purpose. We have the operational challenges and the board is aware about that. The management did a position paper so that we are able to get technology that will be able to come and train our staff to effectively operate these machines. But the machine is fully functional. What's the other question, madam?
The other question is, in Eyeafrica 2024.
Oh, okay. And the question is misleading. I don't know where is it coming from. I don't know. We are not aware of any information that we have given to the former Minister of Information which is misleading, because the former Minister of Information oversees the Gambia Printing and Publishing Corporation, and the permanent secretary of the ministry sits on the board of GPPC, and the permanent secretary is aware of everything that we do. The machine, maybe there were some misinformation. People speculated that the machine was bought 50 million. This machine was never bought 50 million. And we made that clear when the allegations came. The machine, all the necessary documentations are available. In fact, this particular machine issue was audited because this machine was procured in around 2018. As I'm talking to you, the accounts are audited to 2021. If there were any misprocurement or otherwise, the external auditors would have captured that. And this was also presented to the National Assembly, and all those years are approved. The account have never been disapproved. And the records are there to show that. Like the DG have said, in any people who are not, because they have your personal vendetta, and the management would not succumb to people who are not looking at the interests of the institution. Make that point very clear. I will never succumb to the wishes of people who are not protected to the institution, who will think that they have to get the management to succumb to their wishes. That will not happen. But I'm happy to say my DND is here, and the Director of Publishing is also here. GPPC is one of the, I can tell you from all evidences, and these things will prove, is one of those institutions that are very sound in terms of finances. Even in the advent of COVID-19 in 2019, almost all government institutions and parastatals were supported by government issues. GPPC had never been given a single dime. We operate effectively, and we continue to operate very effectively. Any other question? GPPC, like so many institutions, have never paid government dividend to government as of now. And the rationale, reason behind that, I think my colleague have said that. I told you the two institutions that were amalgamated to form GPPC were behind the reason why government did that at the time was these two institutions were almost dead for purposes. And government brought them together to form GPPC so that at least they can become viable. When you put institutions together, that they require to be able to do their work. Those that GPPC had never been capitalized. The only capital given to GPPC was $10 million, which is not evident to even buy a secure printer. But from our own, we have invested more than $60 million to procure machines which are currently working as we speak. So, madam.
Thank you. Who's next?
Thank you so much. My name is Edward Francis Valia from Ascam Media. Director Cisse, while giving an overview of GPPC, you made mention of you meeting your target, which is the revenue target, but did not give us exactly how much was the revenue target. We need to know. And for GRTS, my question is, you have mentioned about financial challenges, and we have seen government giving some media houses some amount of money to support government's agenda. How do you see this as a state broadcast Yeah.
Okay, let's wrap up. Any more questions for Mr. Cisse? So before we can move to avoid back and forth. Any additional question for Mr. Cisse? So he can take all at once and then we move to GRTS.
My name is Yahya Jammeh. I work with GRTS. My question is for the Minister of Information, Media and Broadcasting. Whenever we come here, sometimes some representatives of ministers would say that they have enough information about the question that we asked by the judges. And have you been doing follow-up? For example, somebody said here that at the very service they deny people from paying certain currency, and promise that we are going to give a follow-up.
The guy from asking. Thank you very much for the question, yes. I do not want to be very specific. All right, what I can tell you is we had a budget of about 80 million, around 80 million, 80 something million for 2023, and as I speak, for 2023. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. You mentioned like the money that was given to the private media. GRTS was not party to that, and GRTS has always been championing the cause of the government. So we are partners. Even the Ministry of Information, like the Mansa Kunda, is the ministry and us. And we were doing something similar called Face the Nation. I don't know whether anybody remembers that here. It's the same thing, Face the Nation. So we have been in the forefront. But then when it comes to the private media, that's not our domain, and we did not get into that. But the government is supporting us. What they give to the private media, what they give to GRTS, cumulatively, annually, is far, 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 far more than the 40 million that was given to the private media. We are entirely a government, full-time government institution. So we have no issues with the government discussing other alternative means of trying to sell their agenda. We have no issue with that. And if you look at some of the pictures you see, they are from us. We have a special unit that is responsible or always engaged in trying to look at government development things and the others. We have a team, so we're doing that. But as I said, media, sometimes partnership and collaboration. An alternate idea. If you want to work on your alternate idea, we have no issue with that. We have no grudges against the government for that. We have no issue with that. Thank you. Any other that is coming to me? No? Yes, GRTS. Yes.
Main media organization.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Moulid Amishu. My name is Radio. My client, okay. My Internet Radio. So li ma bëggoon a laaj ci sa biir cadre da nga wax ne mbiri koppar financing dafa nekk issue te GRTS waaye ñun ñu nekk ci biti li ñoo dégg mooy nguur naka noonu tam even GSM operator si am na tookul buy jógee si ñoom boo xamante ne dafa ñëw GRTS lii ñu ngi ko dégg te yow wax nga ne financing problème la bëgg nañ nga leeral liy jógee ci nguur ak liy jógee ci GSM operator si ak fan nga strike balance bi ngay wax ne financing the problem. Last one bi tamit mooy si lu jëm ci wàllu programme bi yaa ngi si doon wax ne léegi-léegi il faut nit ñi am interest ci programme bi pour seetaan ko so bëgg naa tam nga leeralal ñu ndax GRTS def na benn research pour xam lan moo yitteel nit ñi because télévision yi mujjee julli sax ñu ma ne ci government institution si ma gis ne CNN or BBC and I made reference dama de ma ne xoolal lii ministry la or lii government department la waaye gisuma ñu GRTS ñu am na issue content recently tam gis nañ dinaa recruit di jëlee sa from other media houses ndax lii dal yeneen government institution si dal GRTS mooy ngeen jël staff yoo xamante ne sax xëj na soxlawu leen ñooñu ñëpp pour exécuter liggéey bi am na ñoo xam ne
ok jërëjëf ñu dooree ko si njëlbeen nga ne finance nga waxoon su ma ne am nañu jafe-jafe nekkul ne government bi joxuñ waaye xam nga finance dafa mel ni jaama du mu sa doy lu ñoo jox doy ñu waaye nekkul ne joxuñ because GSM levy bu nga wax government dañu dee jox ñu am GSM levy tamit déedéet du noonu benn bi la GSM levy bi lañ ñoo jox every month government dañu dee jox xaalis waaye xaalis boobu si GSM bi lay jógee comme every GSM company in the Gambia su nit jëndee crédit am na percentage buy dem si ñun loolu nag nekkul GRTS yëpp soo demee licence soo jëndee télévision foog nga fay licence bu nga fay xaalis boobu noonu si BBC la dee dem institution wala public broadcaster nguur moo ko war a dépasse because aleel nguur gi la te si liggéey nguur la nekk nekkul te private entity nekkul ne dañ ko sos pour mu lii nii pour mu am profit déedéet du mun a am profit because jaayu dara lu moo jaay lu ñëpp bokk la jaayu ko sax daf koy joxe rek tasaaro loolu la beneen bi mooy ban programming waaw naam am nañu challenges comme nu ma ko waxee woon si njëlbeen ma ne xam nga before 20-30 years ago GRTS rek afi nekkoon nit ki nag su nekkee yow rek gaa nekk sëriñ fii nii yow rek gaa nekk docteur ñëpp si yow la ñoo dem de du noonu waaye beneen sëriñ ba nga beneen docteur su feeñee xëy na ñeneen dem fa xëy na mënut la sax waaye moo la gën a ees xam nga lu xew rek la aduna xew la leneen su xewee rek foog ñi taamu dem si loolu noonu GRTS ñu ngee seet suñu programme waaye soo seetloo tamit comme na ko ñun government institution lañu suñu programme yi lu si gën a am doole lu si gën a fas si nguur gi la président dem na fii ministre dem na fii te loolu foog ñu wane ko de foog ñu wane because kuy liggéey foog nga wane liggéey am because lii politics la government politics la in the sense that social contract la dañ la jël liggéey soo wane wut sa liggéey xamuñu lu ngaa liggéeyal nit ñi nañu wax ne liggéeyu loolu foog ñu wane ko loolu lu fii rek government institution la soo seetloo BBC nga seet seen reporting line lu ñoo reporté xeex bu am Ukraine ñeneen di reporté du benn de ñoom fan lañ far Ukraine lu tax because government yi Angleterre foofu lañu far soo demee Palestine lu ko BBC CNN ñeneen di reporté Israël la ñoo baat lu tax seen nguur ñooñu la ñu baat soo demee Al Jazeera dem TRT dem Press TV ñoom naka lañ ko reporté Palestine la ñoo jàppale seen nguur foofu la far ku la may botam moom fu la nee ngay xoolee that is standard foo mën a dem mun nañoo wax ne duggane fii gën a fa waaye du doon te loolu tamit aayul képp ku nekk in government yow yaa moom kër gi tey borom kër du mun a em ak surga si kër musta am fen du am fen de musta am yow sax sa kër doo em ak surga de loola ne ngay def sa kër su neexul surga gi na dem wala mu xaar su la fa yàlla jëlee keneen ñëw mu liggéey ak kooku aduna noonu la moo doxee nga ne beneen overstaff loolu dina jafe am xam nga public broadcasting wala broadcasting sax gis nga GRTS su fekkee ne naam 100% ñeneen ñi ñoo demee noonu lañ demee dañoo wax ne ñun overstaff lu tax fii man nekkoon naa BBC Hard Talk xëy na xam ngeen Hard Talk produce naa Hard Talk Steven Sabo ngaa gis di laajte question dara la fa defut moom loolu rek ay liggéeyam présentation ñeneen ñooy def research ñeneen def production ñeneen def editing ñeneen def lu ne so full team la mun nga am 20 nit working on one programme BBC laa la wax de te tubaab ñoo gën a efficient yëpp bu ñëwee fi yaxa 20 nit working on one thing GRTS kenn nit moo dee def lii yëpp sooy produce programme man maa ngi doon produce di Checkpoint maa ngi doon produce di World Today am na noonu la dangaa nekk production yooyu yaay def lu bëri amuloo lighting man GRTS amuñu lighting specialist amuñu ko amuñu sound specialist ku ànd ak caméra amuñu ko ñu bokka programme yi gis 20 ñooy di editorial board of this programme amut Alaaji Isa is there amut te noonu la war a demee looloo tax gars yi di def lu baax lu xarañ nga foog ne ñooñu mënuñ ñëw jàppalente la soo suñ ko jëlee line boobu noonu ñun overstaff waaye su fekkee ne da nga foog ne ñi ni dañu bëri li ak li loolu ñun mënuñ koo def su fekkee ne GRTS overstaff na sax loolu du liggéey GRTS loolu government policy general policy la moo doon to review all the agencies da wan ne lii ak lii ak lii ak lii yéen da ngeen lii waaye foog naa overstaff tamit lu jafe la de overstaff amul de because suñ ne nañ def li nañ def ñeneen duñu am liggéey de te am liggéey tamit dafa dundal dëkk bi dafa dundal réew mi de it's part of the economic structure te ñu nga wax ne dañ overstaff keneen for JRTS before I go.
Any further questions for JRTS?
Yes.
Media organization.
Morning.
Good afternoon or morning.
Okay.
Okay, great morning, sir. Good morning. My name is Yahya Jammeh from the Point newspaper. I have two questions. The first one is about your digitalization.
Sorry?
Digital.
Okay, okay.
So we have seen out from the digital world and you came back. What are you guys doing to maintain that stand? Because people have the belief that So what are you guys doing in terms of that? And the other one is you speak of ownership, like GRTS to the citizen. But many have the belief that GRTS is a charitable institution, a selective base. When it comes to recruitment, you guys select those that you want to. Most of the time you don't check on the qualities. What would you say on that?
Okay, thank you very much. What I would say is fake news. Yeah, we start with the first one. You're talking about what we need to do to maintain, to sustain our listing on satellite. I think everything is being done. All you need is finance to maintain yourself. And the finances, as we are speaking, we are not complaining. And we'll, inshallah, will remain on satellite until when the DTT comes. What DGL General Manager Sedikan was explaining. When DTT comes, we might go off satellite because it's going to be in-house now, national. People here will be able to view us, no problem. People outside, they may not be our priority, but that's a policy issue. I say it's fake news. GRTS, our recruitments are very, very transparent. We recruit all the time. I don't remember the last time I see recruitment from other agencies. We recruit, when we recruit, we put it in the papers. People come and compete, and we pick what we think is the best. People like me, when I was coming to GRTS, I didn't know anybody. It was like more than others who interviewed me, and I became lucky, and I'm here. True for many other people. It might be sometimes necessary to go outside and see people who can do something. That is not very careful. If there is somebody who is very good, even you, if you are very good at what you do, from here we can just say, Honorable Minister, I think we need that one. We take you. The law allows that. The law allows for you to go for talent. The law allows it. But I think these fake news are just being peddled by, as my brother said here. You see, any institution you go to, there are people who are uncomfortable. And there are people who are, when people are unhappy. Yes, because Gambia, if people are unhappy and you are very unpopular, I consider myself very disruptive. I'm not a manager. What I tell people, I'm not a manager. Why? A leader, you lead people somewhere, you take them somewhere, and you cannot take them somewhere if you don't disrupt their system. You don't talk about you. Yes, I have a job to do. Yes, you have to make people uncomfortable. You see, when change is coming, people who are used to doing certain things in another way, you come, you say, let's have an alternate way of doing it. Men will be uncomfortable with that, and they will be unhappy with that. And they'll find names and they will label you. So, you the leader, what you need to do, just have a clear conscience. For me, whoever calls me and says, yes, that's it. I go and sleep. I don't reply, I don't do anything, because I know my conscience is clear. Can I make mistakes, or can management make mistakes? True, that is true. We are not promising anybody, and we are not saying GRTS is perfect. GRTS is a very imperfect institution, like any institution in this country, in Germany, in France, in everywhere. It's perfect. Even life has never been perfect. It is not perfect, and will never be perfect. But we do the best we can do. And for people who have another agenda, they are welcome, because they keep us on our toes and they push us. We are very happy. Let them come with rumors. We welcome them. They keep us on our toes. We are very, very happy. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
I am Omar Tal of Dynamic TV. All is an online platform. You know, you have highlighted during your deliberation that what GRTS have achieved in the past and what it ought to achieve in the future. But are you so much concerned about the narrative that people, you know, normally see within town in the country, that it is an institution that is one-sided? You know, it only airs government views and other things without, you know, giving access to the opposition and other. What about this as the leader of this institution?
Okay, you see, public broadcasting, BRTS, you know, institutions that we call state broadcasters, and we have others that we call public broadcasters. Synonymous, the same but different. With the Honorable Minister, he has those ideas, and even the government has the idea to make BRTS a public broadcaster. A public broadcaster is a government-owned institution that is funded by the government, but editorially it is independent to do whatever it wants to do. GRTS will reach that level. But so far, to say we don't cover the opposition, I think might be far-fetched. Just recently, the UDP Congress was on GRTS. We covered. I think what confuses some people is trying to understand the head of state and the others. You see, when the president moves, we are not covering him as NPP. We're covering as head of state of this country. That is different from an opposition party moving. Even in the advanced, secure, established democracies like the United States or UK or wherever, the prime minister or the president is news. When he does whatever is news, you cannot avoid that. We do that. Whether we are concerned with with people thinking we don't cover them, I think they need to rethink again. But we are doing very much to give space. Like this platform here, everybody is invited. Like the Mansakunda, minister will come, and everybody. Anyone who is a critic of the government or who has an alternate view, you are called to come face to face. Some of them don't come. And you don't come, you don't put your input, you go outside. It's a learning process. We'll be there. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. My name is Yahya Jammeh from Gambia. I'm quite proud that, as highlighted by DG, that BRTS is now moving towards becoming a real, public access broadcaster in the country. I would just like to know from you, do you think this is something that is sustainable as far as the role of BRTS is concerned? I mean, depending in payments. Do you think it is sustainable?
Okay, thank you. I think that's a very good question. See, from the beginning, well for the government, because the government is overloaded with priorities, it might not be possible for the government to directly subvent. The idea of sustainability, really, even at our level, we've been discussing that thing, that we might need to look into it again. Why? Because we're dependent on income that is not under our control. In the sense that if the GSM operators today decided to pack their luggage and move to another place, what will happen to us? The GSM levy funding will have to be suspended. The government. The thing is, the government is aware of that challenge, that we need to look into a more proactive, a more sustainable way of funding the national broadcaster. And discussions are ongoing to come up with something like that. But it's a challenge for all broadcasters wherever we go to, because our colleagues from Sierra Leone came here, they told us there are challenges when it comes to direct subvention from the state. And we sold this idea to them, what we do in the Gambia. And they jump at the idea. They say when they go back to Sierra Leone, they will share that with their government. Possibly that one is an alternative. So what we people think here is not sustainable. Another person somewhere thinks that's the best option. But the dialogue is ongoing. Sustainable. I always tell my people, before us, other people were here, they are left. Today we are here, we will go, other people will go. There, the government will find a way of keeping it there. It will never close. It will never. What we can do is we do our best for the institution. We do our best for the country. And to understand by circumstances today, we are the people. In a few years, we will go. So before we go, From me. For GRTS again? Come in, yes. Hope these people will have time. If you throw all your bullets at us, keep some of your ammunition for the two gentlemen.
Again, my name is Yahya Jammeh from the Standard newspaper. So in 2021, BRIEFS was supposed to go digital and it was even approved by the Supplementary Appropriation Bill. But that failed. So what is the way forward? Is there a timeline for GRTS to go digital or something? What are we supposed to expect?
Okay, thank you very much. The first thing is, let me help you to understand what you said. 2021, we were given money to go digital. No, it did not happen. We were given money to prepare for the elections, and the money was utilized for that. If in Parliament they didn't understand this, we explained to them. And when you say digital, we are digital. We are digital. The digital we are talking about, pictures are digital, our audio, everything is digital. Digital transmission, that is a different thing. Mr. Silicon would explain to you what that means. Understand?
Not cable, but analog.
Analog to digital, we are not analog. We are not analog. All our equipment is digital. Anything we buy now is digital. We are not analog. There may be some elements of analog, fine, but we are not. You cannot. Our pictures are HD quality. We are not analog. Our radio is on satellite. We are not analog. We are not. We are not.
Final question.
No. Okay. Okay.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Alani Fati from Gambia FM Regiment. I have two questions for one for DG GRTS and Mr. Silika. For GRTS, what I want to know, because if I've really project GRTS in your presentation in a very high standard there, and then you talk about the training staff, but most of the case, these staff will go out of the country. But when they come back home, the welfare, the salary also remain the same. So as a DG, what are you also doing in that aspect as well? And then
he will come later, you can ask him.
Okay, thank you. For the past 2-3 years, we've done all we could to augment salaries, and our board of directors approved it. The honorable is happy with it, but then the state has rules and regulations. When you approve from this state, it goes to another state. When it went to the SOE Commission, it couldn't be on a holistic approach. Because their argument is, why you increase salary for GRTS, not GNPC, not GPPC orders. Why not we bring all of you together, look at your pay scale. Some are paid $1, some are paid $2, when you are all doing a similar thing. Let's have a state agencies. That's what they are working on. So that's what is delaying the improvement. And the other thing is, that is individual. You see, when you take this job as a career, even if you are paid less, you don't move. But if you take the job as a stepping stone to economic well-being, you will leave even if we pay you more. Because we cannot pay you more than maybe what somebody outside would pay you. I don't really understand my language. If you take it as a career, this is journalism, this is a career that I want to do until when I retire, then you don't look at the money aspect that much. You look at your career development and your contribution and the career. But if you are at GRTS, not for career development, but for money, to build a house, to build other things, anytime you see someone who can pay more, you will leave, because you are there for the money, not for your career. You go to the teaching field, people have been teaching there for so long, they did not move, never mind the salaries, they are doing their best. You go to the army, you go to GRTS too, some people have been offered, they did not move. I worked for the UN for 1 year, I did not go, I could have gone. I opened the UN Resident Coordinators Media System, 2000. So people can leave when they want to leave. They can leave. I'm a Chilean scholar. I'm a Chilean scholar. And I work with the BBC. I could have stayed in London. I did not. The same is true for many others. Alaji Modo has been with us for how long? Jamu, Musa, Alaji Isa and others. Many people. There are others who will come 2 days, you put them on the screen, people recognize their face, Tomorrow, they look at, you see, people sometimes put more emphasis on image than substance. They see you on screen, you talk. They don't even know what you are talking, who prepared you to talk. They take you, they say, okay, we have. And some of them, I can tell you, they want to come back. Because what they realize is all that, not all that glitter. More, but do you have peace of mind there? Do you have leverage to develop? You can be just a cog in the system. You are paid 100,000 or whatever dollars, but you are just given reference to do the same thing, routine. Anything. If I would go. Yes, thank you.
You want to highlight the difference between digital? So I think some of our young, we don't know, those televisions that have those classic antennas. Those are analog.
Yeah, the question that I have for Mr. Silga is that thanks to your department for graduating the others from analog to digital system. But what we want to know, you have said that you face a lot of challenges, financial constraint, but we also want to text something to our audience that is this is the exact amount that you requested in your build-up. And as we speak right now, your plans also, can we have a rough figure of what you want to move direction to the right direction, please?
Thank you very much for the question. This is a very important question. We do not give rough figures or rough ideas, because when he comes as a honorable minister representing the government, asking the DGL how much does it cost to put up this transmission platform, we have to give exact figures. And the homework for that we did, as he has said, is 11 million. We did that already. You do a specification, give the specification to a manufacturer, and that manufacturer will look at the details of that, do the costing as per specification, give you a proposal. This is what we did, and this is what we gave to the government. And we did it as per transmission site and the multiplexer. All the sites have their cost attached to it, and the multiplexer have a cost attached to it. Thank you. I hope that answers your question. In euros, it's 11 million.
Any further questions? Any questions for CPPC? No. Then I'll take the final question. Yes, I have one for you. Yes,
sorry, can I just elaborate on something? Somebody raised about the sustainability of the GRTS, looking at the user fee paid to the GRTS. Now, the GRTS and the DGL are very much intertwined in the area of finance. As we speak now, the GRTS is paying the DGL salary. Now, according to policy, GRTS should have GRTS 2, GRTS 3, and the list goes on. Those GRTS 2, 3, the list goes on, should join the private in the commercial sector. So that's a revenue line for the GRTS with the existence of the DTT, the operations of the DGL. That's a
Once again, Alusi Security. I would like to know from you, I mean, what exactly are you doing to remain competitive in a world increasingly dominated by digital media? People are not going to e-book and other stuff. So what are you doing to remain competitive in this industry?
Thank you so much for that question. I think this is one of the reasons why I told this gathering initially that the board of directors have approved the training of one of our staff to Malaysia for his masters in publishing and everything. And in that, he just concluded in 2023. And part of this program is all about this digital media, e-media, whatever. We are even trying to see, because currently what obtains is that when people need these gazetted documents, the Constitution, by the way, this gathering should be informed that the Gambia Printing and Publishing Corporation is the entity that gazettes all government documents. So anybody who wants any gazetted documents from history, you can please make sure that you have that. You can have that cassette. We are trying to work a system where we can digitize that, so that well, even if you are in America and you want all the gazetted documents for 2023, 2024, you just click to our account and then you are able to do that. But then it has to be, people have to pay for that. So we're currently working on that as management. And this by extension is not only the gazette, but even the constitution of the Gambia and all the stuff. So we are aware that the world is changing and we are then adapting to those changes as well.
Good morning. I am Ismail Abba from the Senegambian News Outlet. Earlier on you mentioned that the GPPC has published learning materials for senior secondary schools. So what about the junior schools, the basic and the secondary that are currently grappling with textbooks? As we have seen, the performance of students currently dropping from the previous WAS and then the WAC level.
Thank you very much. I think, like you rightly mentioned, I told you that the corporation, one of the key mandates of GPPC is to provide teaching and learning materials. And this is across the board, from the lower to the tertiary. Everything has to come gradual. We're currently in consultation with MAPSI, and we are looking at the possibility for GPPC to come into those areas as well. The processes are on, not concluded as of now. Anytime it is concluded, the public will be aware. But then we are working with MAPSI about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, DG. We've almost come to the end of today's session. We'll invite the Honorable Minister to wrap up. One thing that we took over is self-doubt. We've gone for Gambia 60 years. I remember when they were about to create GRTS, they said that it is not going to be sustainable. The same with the university. Gambia, we should stop doubting ourselves. We've gone far from the Hios Botschaft of being, sorry, I'm speaking German now, that Gambia not being a probable nation. We are now a sustainable nation. Countries are coming to learn from our example. So let us appreciate what we are doing. Everything shouldn't be negative. Thank you.
Thank you. I think I have one question from the gentleman. Is it Per? Huh? The beer. Yes, I think it's about following up on questions raised in earlier press. Yes, so I always follow up with those questions. And those who are responsible for asking those questions always get in touch with me privately for me to give them the answers. And I think the particular question issue you raised was about the ferry. I've spoken with the ferries. There is no policy, as far as they know, as far as we know, that people should pay in foreign currencies. Gambia is the legal tender of this country. Dallas is the legal tender. And therefore, all purchases for goods and services in this country must be done in Dallas. So that is very clear. Now, also, just to Martin to like Juf, see, I'm not like the ball like GRTS DGB about ne halis bi copper bi doy. Nit ñi dañ wara xam ne pour nga mëna run 24th century ultra modern public service broadcast or whatever, and any broadcaster, it's not cheap. Modern equipments are very expensive. And I think you know, we are trying to build a brand new ultra-modern studio at the RTS. The quotation we received from one of the vendors to build one series, 2 million euros, just to build a brand new ultra-modern studio. How much does cameras cost? If you want HD, proper cameras, how much does one camera cost? So it's not easy to run a public broadcast. What you see is the screen, is the outcome, is the final product of lots of hard work and sweat and a lot of resources. All you see is what you see on the screen. And sometimes we are easy to criticize what is on the screen, not thinking of what's happening at the back. So it's not easy. If we want to really transform GRTS to a state broadcaster which can compete with those in the sub-region, with Ivory Coast, with Senegal and other places, we need to invest heavily in it. We need to attract the best brains. You need to. Because if GRTS is paying $10,000 per month, for example, and someone offers 20, they'll go. If you want to retain and attract the best brains and buy proper equipment and train your staff to deliver the highest standards, you must invest. That is the point where I'm saying it's not that there is no money coming. And let it be clear, he makes it very clear JITS only receives one line of revenue, which is the levy. They don't get any extra money from government. That is money that is coming from government. It's not like they're receiving from 2 lines of revenue. And that is not enough to pay for the operational cost of JITS, pay for salaries, fuel, and all those operational issues, yet attract and retain the best staff, yes, buy the most modern equipment. It's not possible. Therefore, I think DG is working hard on his team to come up with innovative sources of revenue mobilization that they can use to also contribute to modernizing JITS. Any questions for me? Yes.
Again, Dynamic Gambia. You've highlighted during your deliberation that the government through your ministry is trying to help young journalists to adapt themselves to become modern day journalists. One would be asking, is this not one of the gimmicks the government is trying to push to control the narrative within the media space or trying to censor the media?
See, we are doing well. You see, now you speak like an Englishman. So we've done well in also making sure that we build your capacity. I thought it was a British man who was speaking when you were asking a question. But on a more serious note, it's not gimmicks. You see, we have a mandate, and that mandate is to ensure that the right of every citizen to access information is guaranteed. And we cannot do it without the media. And we allow the media to hold us accountable. The media is the fourth estate. The media is here to check and balance so that no government abuses power. And that we accept. That is why we are transparent to the media. So it's no gimmicks here. We are very serious when we say the media is a critical partner, and we mean that.
So what I'm asking, does this make media free to say anything that they feel about government, try to hold government accountable?
But obvious.
Or that government is trying to intervene within the media?
Listen, let me tell you, young man, what's your name again?
Omar.
Do you see any censorship in the Gambia recently?
It could.
No, but do you see it?
Well, I have not seen anyone.
Do you see the questions asked here today?
Yes.
Would you ask these questions on Yahya Jammeh? Yes, you. Thank you. Yeah. Even the forum.
waaye bëgg naa laajte tamit mooy mostly ndaje yi suñ amee dañoo gis ne dañ dee làkk si kàllaama nasaraan te lu si bari si ordinary Gambien si ñoo waxal dégguñ ko maa ngi bëgg a xam sa ministre yi yéen jéego ngeen bëgg a jël pour ensure government suy am ay ndaje askan wi xam ko si làkk yi dégg waaye tamit national document lu si mel ni budget bi lu si mel ni audit report yi ñu gis ne yii mun nañ ko indi si làkk yi ñuy dégg comment tëjee tam finally mooy bëgg naa nga throw some light si mbiri media house yi tamit mooy in terms of jàppale private media bi benn waaye ñaareel tamit lii bu ma nga wax si mbiri embargo bi nga xamante ne mu ngi am tey si mbiri radio yi ak télévision bi fan la si nguur gi toll ci jamono bi.
Kon naa ñetti mbir nga laajte fii mooy bi si njëkk a gën a fis mooy mbiri làkka bi. Xam nga Gambie amuñ benn lingua franca mooy làkka bi nga xam ne moom la ñëpp dee làkka si local language yi si English moo official language bi. Léegi soo mee press conference nga ne si soo lañ ko defee ki nekk olof mun na si gis boobu moo tax ñuy wax ne képp koo xam ne ñëw nga fi nga bëgg a laaj comme yow noo ko defee mun ngaa laajte si olof. waaye jéego yi nga xam ne yooyu lañ jël si ministry mooy ñun dañ am yenn lu ñoo ooyee strategic communication consultants yi nga xam ne consultants lañ at the ministry level. saa yuñ amee Mansakunda wala press conference wala press release parce que xam nañ ne soo xaymayee soo dajee téeméeri Gambia ñu see dégg ak làkk ak jàng angale mu tut fukka kon soo génnee press release nga bëgg a askan bi xam la moo nekk si press release boobu noonu ñu bari duñ mën a jàngala moo fa nekk kon amul njëriñ moo tax consultants yi lu ñu leen di def mooy ñoom saa yuñ amee Mansakunda ak press conference ak press release ak lépp loo xam ne xibaar la bu jógee si nguur ñoom dañ koo jël lifin ko si laaka yeneen laaka yëpp ba pare tasaare ko si askan bi mooy si WhatsApp forum yi mooy si TIC fépp foo xam ne mun askan bi mun dafa di nekk di déglu xibaar dañ ko fa di tasaare su ñëwee si audit report si ak budget bi nag boo dina métti parce que am na yoo xam ne technical terms lañ xanaa yoo nga jàppaluñ yéen mi nga xam ne léegi ngeen olof bu baax a baax ak ñi nga xam ne digg nañu soose mun nañoo laaka soose te duñ si dugal benn angale waaye kon ma ko dee waxee rek mooy ne boo noonu dinañ ci def suñ taxawaay nguur gis ne lépp loo xam ne kibar la wala keti nguur la ñu def ko ci local la but for now loolu noonu is a big challenge nañ seen naka la ñu mën a def at the ministry level ñun dañ dee make sure ne all press releases all press conferences Mansakunda bi yëpp dañ ko dee jël tasaare ko ci local languages yi ñaareel bi mooy mbiri embargo bi waaw dañ gisoon ne ñu doon am na ñu doon abuse système bi dañu am license ñu téye ko nekkul di operate te laaj dañ la ko jox pour nga operate wala ñu am ko di ko jaay moo tax bu ñu ñëwee dañ laaj ñëpp ngeen ñëw ñuy seen license loolu jeex na léegi ñu ngi work on new guidelines léegi te mu pare di ma am naa meeting ak Pura promise na ma next week dina pare naa ko yóbbu cabinet as an information paper guidelines yi ñooy wane ne léegi mën nañoo joxe license yi nañoo lift embargo bi ne ñu ngi lift embargo ba léegi pour ñu jël license lii mooy new guidelines yi mun naa nekk dañoo yokk fii si possible mun naa nekk ñu ne ok léegi képp koo xam ne da nga bëgg am license da nga war a operate around the country parce que dañu gis the imbalance out of 38 commercial radios 90% yëpp urban Gambia lañ dee operate te il faut dafa war a dem si rural Gambia bi tamit ba pare gis nañ tamit ne am na community radios yoo xam ne because duñ dee fay license naka waruñoo def advance boo dee du advance te daanoo supposed to so di nga gis koo xam ne dafa bugg a drone commercial radio ba bugg a federal license mën a éduquer as a community radio yet mi def advance so foo ñu regulate ñu make sure ñu sanitize system bi man as long once those guidelines are ready pare na d'accord nañ si ak stakeholders yëpp den dinañ lift embargo bi waaye dañoo gis ne ñu am sarta yoo xam ne dina mën a sanitize the whole system sa ñettali laajte bi mooy banate waaw boobu noonu discuss nañ ko at the government level maa ngay liggéey ak GPU in fact GPU lay xaar xam naa ne am nañ président bu es dañu bëgg am daje boo xam ne dañoo toog waxtaan si ñetti mbir yooyu mooy financing bi foofu la nekk innovative ways of financing ñu ngi seet lan la ñu war a mën a def parce que there are many ways am na ñu ne joxe subvention to the media houses am na ñu ne joxe subvention to the GPU not that to the media dañ ko dee jox media bi support media but GPU lañ ko GPU provide training support media house so ñu ngi seet lan la ñu war a def am na ñaam dañuy tax breaks so lu bari la ñoo nekk di seet waaye right now amuñ anything concrete dañoo am meeting ak GPU kind of a retreat fu ñoo ooyee all the media houses ñu ñoo toog ñu ni neen ñu amee résolution la li mooy di way forward lii la ñoo bëgg a nguur jàppale ñu su dee dañ agree ne subvention la from government muy dem directly to the media houses which is very difficult because kan ngaa jox kan ngaa bàyyi ndax dañ ko jox GPU provide capacity building and other material support to the media house ndax dañ xamanguñ la daal waaye ñu ngi loo xam ne la ñu ngi ko bàyyi xel bu baax a baax parce que xam nañ ne media house yi ñu ngi struggle like any other business in the Gambia operational cost yi yokku nañ everything xam nga yokku na because of inflation obviously so ñu ngi struggle but nañ liggéey ak yéen ak media house yi through GPU ñu gis naka la ñu mën a essayer jàppale pour media house yi. Any other questions?
Thank you, Susan, from the Point newspaper. My question is, there was a release that the agreement or contract between the ministry and Sparkling Media Agency has been terminated. My question is the fund going back to the ministry, or you have identified another private media that will take its place?
Before, how it works is that you only request for money that you can spend. When the contract was terminated, we did not request for them to be paid. So obviously, it's not with us. If you understand how government finances work, if we plan to pay a particular service provider, we have to make a request from Ministry of Finance for them to approve and allocate it. If we don't need it, we don't need it. What is important is that the contract was terminated. They had received the first batch tranche of payment. Now, would you request that money back? That's a legal question that we have to consult with the Ministry of Justice. But remember, it's not that they did not deliver or did not provide a deliverable. They delivered. What we are saying is that it is below the standards expected. So, what are the laws? If you go to buy, if you order a book from a particular vendor and who promises that I'll deliver these books to you with this specification and these standards, there are two things. It's either they fail to deliver, but you already made an advance payment to them with the hope that they will deliver the book as specified based on the standards. Two things can happen. They fail to deliver at all. Now, can you request your money back because they failed to deliver? Or they delivered, but the book that we are expecting is not delivered. Can you request the money back still? That's a legal question. We need to now consult with the Ministry of Justice for them to guide us. What is important is that their contract has been terminated with the ministry based on the fact that we thought that the deliverables were below the standards expected. No. The year contract ends in February, so there's no point for that. Okay, thank you very much. It's almost 12:30. It's been a good one. This is the first press conference 2025. Until next month, maybe we'll have another 2 or 3 more agencies to come and face the Gambian public. We thank the media. Also, we thank the Minister of Justice, the staff, DOIS, and also our guest, DG of JRTS, DG of GPPC, MD, GM. I get confused, MD, DG, GM. I don't know which is which. But however, our guests, Cisse and Sedikan, thank you very much for coming. And I think you've done a good job. Thanks to the media houses, and also thanks to all our guests who came. And I hope that I'll see you again in 1 month time. Just for your information, next month Sakunda is the 29th, which is next week Friday. Sorry, the 31st, next week Friday, and we'll be having the Ministry of Public Service to come and face Gambians and interface. Thank you very much.